Have you ever seen a person's entire world collapse in a single heartbeat? Imagine walking into a luxurious five-star hotel with the person you thought was your secret escape, only to find out the one woman you betrayed is not only there, she's the new owner. This is the story of Daniel, a man who thought he could outsmart fate, and Alina, the woman who rose from heartbreak to power. And once you hear how it ends, you'll realize, sometimes karma doesn't just knock, it walks straight into the room dressed in designer heels. Stay with me till the end because this isn't just about betrayal. It's about strength, survival, and a twist so sharp it could cut glass. Daniel Reynolds was the kind of man who lived for appearances. A successful corporate director, always in a tailored suit, always with a smile that could charm his way through any boardroom. But behind the mask his life was cracking. He had a wife, Alina, who had stood by him through the stormy days of debt, sleepless nights, and endless business failures. She was the quiet force who pushed him to success, though Daniel had long stopped noticing. And then there was Sophie, younger, bolder, someone who whispered to his ego that he deserved more, that his life should be filled with champagne nights instead of simple dinners at home. Sophie wasn't just a fling, she was his escape, and Daniel convinced himself no one would ever know. On a Friday night, Daniel decided to make their secret affair grander. No dingy apartments, no rushed moments. He booked the most luxurious suite at the Ambrose Grand Hotel, a five-star palace in the heart of the city. "Only the best for us," he told Sophie, as he placed his hand on the small of her back while stepping through the gold-framed doors. Everything gleamed, crystal chandeliers, velvet lounges, marble floors. Daniel felt powerful, untouchable. Until the elevator dinged. The moment the doors opened, laughter echoed from the lobby. He froze mid-step, his heart stuttering in his chest. Sophie, oblivious, kept walking, swinging her handbag. And then he saw her. Alina. Not in her modest dresses, not in the quiet shadows of his life, but radiant, confident, and speaking to a group of managers with a commanding tone. "Make sure every guest is treated with excellence. This is our standard now." Daniel's throat went dry. Our standard now? What was she doing here? And then the hotel manager turned to the staff and proudly announced, "Everyone, meet Mrs. Alina Reynolds, the new owner of Ambrose Grand Hotel." The room tilted for Daniel. Sophie squeezed his arm, whispering, "Babe, why'd you stop walking?" But Daniel's legs felt nailed to the floor. His double life had just collided with a reality he wasn't prepared for. Alina's eyes found him. For a second she blinked as if seeing a ghost. Then her expression hardened, calm, controlled, but in her gaze was a storm waiting to break. "Daniel," she said, voice steady but sharp as glass, "what a surprise." Sophie, clueless to the hurricane in the room, smiled and extended her hand. "Hi, I'm Sophie." Alina didn't shake it. She didn't need to. Instead, she turned to the staff and said, "Please excuse us." Within seconds, the lobby cleared, leaving only the three of them in a silence thick enough to choke. Daniel's mouth opened, words stumbling out. "Alina, I didn't know." "You didn't know I'd be here," she cut him off. "Or you didn't know I'd find out one day that my husband trades his vows for cheap thrills." Sophie shifted uncomfortably, whispering, "Daniel, what's going on?" Alina's laugh was bitter, but her posture remained regal. "What's going on? I bought this hotel, Sophie, with the very money Daniel thought I didn't understand how to manage. He spent years underestimating me while I quietly invested, quietly built my empire. And now," she spread her arms, glancing at the grand chandelier, "this is mine." Daniel felt small, like the suit he wore was just fabric trying to hold a broken man together. He tried to reach for her hand. "Alina, please, She pulled back. "No, don't beg now. I begged once for your attention, for your honesty, for your love. But that Alina died the moment I signed these papers. I am not your shadow anymore." Tears stung Daniel's eyes. The realization hit him. Not only had he lost her trust, he had lost the chance to ever be part of her future. Sophie, uncomfortable and suddenly aware of the fire she had walked into, slipped away quietly, muttering an excuse. She didn't matter anymore. It was Daniel and Alina, the betrayer and the betrayed. And Alina chose her dignity. She straightened her shoulders and whispered, "You thought you were clever, Daniel, but let me leave you with this. A man who betrays his foundation will always end up in ruins. And you are already crumbling." With that, she walked away, heels echoing on marble, not once looking back. Daniel sank onto the velvet chair, head in his hands. Around him, the hotel gleamed like a jewel, her jewel. And he knew, no matter what he did, Alina would rise higher, brighter, stronger, while he would always be the man who lost it all by chasing an illusion. Sometimes betrayal looks like a moment of pleasure, but it costs a lifetime of regret. And sometimes heartbreak becomes the seed of power, the start of a new empire. Daniel's story is a warning. Alina's story is an inspiration. Remember this: if someone ever underestimates you, let them. Because one day you'll walk into the room not as their partner, but as the owner.